Welcome back to the channel, and today we're looking at the Jack Wolf Knives Little Bro Jack. This is a sleeve board boys knife pattern, and it comes in 5 different variations. You can get it in camo carbon, a flow party, rosewood, which looks very, very attractive, nebula fat carbon, dark matter copper fat carbon, and you can also get it in the one you see here, Crystal Lake Kyanite. And when I say it is stunning, it is some very, very stunning material. Now, if you do happen to get the Kyanite, you definitely want to be careful. You don't want to drop it on the ground or not, because Kyanite can crack pretty easily. It just, if you drop it on the cement, it's probably going to crack. Just be careful with it. I love this size of a slip joint. It's very non-threatening, and it's a very classy, classic looking pattern. You have enough blade to pinch open. You do have a half crescent nail nick on one side. This one's coming in at 6.21 inches long with a 2.67 inch blade of CPM S90V steel at 60 to 61 HRC. It has a deep, deep hollow grind that is ground down to around 12 thousandths behind the edge at its thinnest portion, which is very, very nice. It should slice very, very well. And being it's a hollow grind, it should stay thin, almost about a 1/4 inch up the blade before it'll start to thicken up. We had that elegant looking clip point, nice swedge, thinning out that tip, giving you a very needle-like tip right there for piercing. We have a well-executed sharpening choil that should give you a good bit of sharpening life before it starts to widen up back here. Got a nice, consistent, even satin finish, stone wash on the flats. Now let's see how it performs. My knife came with a pretty good edge out of box, and being it has such a deep hollow grind on it, it should slice really, really well. Even when it starts to dull out, you should still be able to get it through most materials. Yeah, I felt that you have just enough handle to get pretty much all your EDC tasks done. And I mean, that's the only reason I carry a slip joint, is to have a nice slicey knife on me, and these are definitely slicey. Now we're testing the ergos on this piece of, I think it's birch, and you can get very, very fine curls very easily. I did notice, being that it's a thinner scaled knife and I have just enough for a 4-finger grip, I'm having to grip down on the handle a lot tighter, so it's going to fatigue your wrist and forearms if you had to do this for a extended period of time. But if you were trying to make a fire and you needed some feather sticks, you could definitely get the job done. No hot spots to speak of, because you have a very neutral handle that flares out in the back. Yeah, it was comfortable, and I was able to get a good bit of force into the wood for such a small knife. Definitely enjoyable. Now we move to the 1/2 inch twisted sisal rope, and the knife has enough bite to do this test. That's something I always fear when I'm doing these tests. If a knife doesn't have any bite to it, it's miserable to do it. Being that we have that nice clip point, you can use that belly to start the cut, do a rocking motion, pushing motion. I'm doing a lot of push cuts here for the most part, and it seems to be doing rather well. I'm able to do it in the pencil grip like that with my index finger on the spine of the blade, and that means that the knife is either got great geometry or it's super sharp. This one has really great geometry and it's pretty sharp. And the pinch grip was decently comfortable. I definitely wouldn't want to do this without gloves on, though, just because it's a skinny handled knife. It'd be hard to hold on to. But cutting on a flat surface is always going to be a breeze when you have decent bit of belly. And that is one thing I do like about the clip points and other drop points and stuff like that. I got through, I think, 50 cuts before I ran out of rope. I need to go buy some more rope here soon, but I'm not testing for edge retention anyway. I'm just seeing how that edge performs and make sure we don't have any catastrophic failures on the edge. But yeah, definitely a-okay. And we'll have to see how it does on the next. Another thing that's going to shine is the drag cuts like that. Now, you're not going to be able to really use the tip to do drag cuts, but the belly works excellent. It's popping all the material pretty nice. And I love whenever I have these thin geometry knives cutting through this tubing. It just goes through it so fast. Definitely want to be careful with where that tip lands when you're cutting stuff, like say that cardboard right there, because you don't want to go straight into the board and snap that tip off because it's not super thick. Still had a good bit of bite when we got to the denim, and yeah, I thought it performed rather well. Now let's take a look at the walk and talk. Excellent pop to it. Flush in the half stop position. Flush in the open position. Now let's take a look at the handle area. You have a Torx T10 for the pivot, T8 for the cover screws, polished titanium hardware, double-ended bolsters, single flutes on both of them, nice contouring. These are Curanite covers that just look stunning. Absolutely no gaps, no high spots, everything seamless. Top quality construction, like always. Nice beveling. Of course, super smooth, flush backspacer with a brushed satin finish on it. Perfectly centered blade. I have yet to get a Jack Wolf knife that wasn't pretty much flawless. They all come with this nice leather slip that holds the knife nicely. I've been carrying mine in this Northwoods leather slip. These are super lightweight. It's coming in at 57.8 grams or 2.038 ounces. With the sheath is 2.65 ounces. I hardly ever noticed I had anything in the pocket. Quick size reference with the Victorinox Pioneer and the Victorinox Cadet. Next we have the Lion Steel round head and the traditional pocket knives Ohio Riverjack. And here it is, pivot to pivot with the Big Bro and butt to butt with the Big Bro. Last we have the Ontario Rat 2 and the Benchmade Proper. Any nitpicks, complaints? I mean, I'm just going to have to be very nitpicky because there's really nothing functionally wrong with this knife at all. I would have liked to see maybe a little bit sharper of an edge, but you know, that said, it still got through all my testing just fine. And it still has a pretty good edge on it. You know, it's definitely not dull. And I usually sharpen these up after the review anyway, because the edge retention jumps up dramatically after the first sharpening or two. So, final thoughts. This is an outstanding, smaller slip joint. It's very classy looking. It's not going to scare anybody. I mean, most slip joints don't, but this one is definitely that perfect size. It's a medium-sized knife. My medium-sized hands, I still get a nice 4-finger grip on it. You know, there's a lot of awesome ones to choose from. This was just my favorite because I love blue. The rosewood looked very classic as well. And yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about the Little Bro. If y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I will have links to this down in the description. We'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.